here at the bench, and I figured I'd just show this quickly. I'm putting together this GC laser background kit, and it's interesting. I'd never built one of these before, and just if anyone's curious, this is a real brief, and you know what I mean by brief, review of what I did. Like I said, interesting kit. There's one panel that's been built up, and what I'm going on my layout, all I'm going to use is basically the center, and I'm calling the left-hand side and the right-hand side. There's a total of 5. I'm using 3 of them just for the area that I'm going to put this, so I don't need the other 2. So I made the center section, pretty much following the instructions, and I had to think about it because to me the instructions were a bit confusing. They didn't seem to label stuff as clearly as I would have hoped, but I thought about it, figured it out. Again, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I did eventually get to it. Basically, what it is, and of course I'm not happy, so I modified one of these. You start off with, let me just show you one of the other pieces. This is kind of the outer brick piece. So you start with this, and this is all just paper, so it assembles nice with heck, even Elmer's. I'm using Weldbond, but you can use anything. So you start with this, you put that down, and you glue on this red sheet, which gives you basically the windows and the doors. It gives you that, so you can see it's at this point it's still see-through. Okay, so you glue that on, and it's all just paper. So again, it's, like I said, it's real simple. So I did that on this one, and then you glue another white piece on top of the red piece, and then there's little black filler pieces that go into the window areas, and you just glue them in, and then you get what that basically, that's, like I said, that's what it's going to look like. Now I might paint it and modify it a little bit and add some exterior details and stuff. So on this one, since this side here is going to kind of stick out from away from the wall, so I'm going to have some room behind it. So I want to modify it, because you can see on this one panel they have it all totally filled in. On this panel they have some garage doors. Well, I wanted a garage door here. I wanted these filled in, and then I put windows on this side. So, and that's easy enough to do. Like I said, this is what I did. I cut some of the red pieces to fit. So I put a door here. I cut the solids to go there, and then I cut the top of this piece to fit. So that just gives me the look that I was looking for at this particular end. One garage door and the rest filled in. And now what I'm doing, I'm just taking the white piece of paper, and they've been trimmed. So I just cut them. That's going to go there. This is for around the door. I'll glue that in there. And then with the solid white, I'll just cut the solid white and put here and here. And then go back and put the black pieces in on the back. Like I said, these black pieces are just, it's hard to do with one hand here. Just again, just thin black pieces that fill in behind the windows, which I think, for a backdrop building, probably looks okay. I'm thinking about, on this particular one, let me see if I can safely flip this over here. Just let the white paper fall. Again, since this side, from at least the door over, is going to be sitting, outside of the wall that's directly behind it, I may try to leave one of these open and actually add an interior to it with a light or something like that. Maybe. It depends how much effort I want to put into it, but we'll see. And then this one goes on this side. I'm going to make the stock version for the other side. That'll go there. Glue them together. I'm going to see how sturdy it is, because it really isn't all that thick. Might need some more bracing or something like that, but they say you just glue it right to the backdrop. And then I also got to work on both sides some type of corner pieces, which this kit doesn't do. It's all flat. So I'll have to come up with some way to modify one of the pieces to give me a corner. We'll see how that goes. So just want to cover this briefly. I'm at 5 minutes. Oh well. But if you've never built one of these, this is what it is. Basically 3 layers, a brick piece, a piece that gives you the windows, which I call the red piece, a white piece, which goes on the back, more to give you the outline, to glue your black window blocks in. You flip it over, then you glue on the various brick pieces. There's some little window lintels you got to glue in there. You glue those across the top. Nothing's difficult. So anyway, so that's that. Just figured I'd kind of show that quickly in case anyone's interested in it. And then I'll show it when it's all done, and we'll see what I decided to do. Okay, just a little bit of follow-up. Just figured I'd show this for people who may be interested. This is the 2 front pieces, pretty much all ready to go. I weathered them up. I put a little wash on, just a real light wash. It was a Vallejo dark gray wash. It just kind of, it real subtly brought out some of the mortar lines. I didn't want to go crazy on it. Then I weathered it with some chalks. And it's been painted. Some of the concrete stuff has been painted in my preferred concrete color. On the top here, I did not use the Lindsay BROS sign. I used some letters from Vector Cut, and also this is a Vector Cut date plate, 1912, and then Eugene Manufacturing. That's individual letters. I had to glue them all one by one. I think it looks okay. I think it's acceptable. Again, it's a background building, so I'm not going to go crazy on it. So I got to get, okay, what I got to get done now is get it 3-dimensional, because the way the kit's designed, it's a flat kit. It sits just like this. It's overall, it's about a 1/4 inch thick, but it sits flat against the backdrop. But what I'm doing is making it a little more 3D. So, for example, this end, and you can see I added a door number, and I added a sign so you don't park in front of this door. This is door number 5, and then there's a door number 6 and 7. I'll show that in a second. This just to add some detail to it. So, I mean, this building doesn't have corners, and I'm by no means a civil engineer. So, again, this is going to go at this end to be the corner on the one end of the building. And I'll bring in the other piece that I did. It's not perfect, but I'll just kind of show you what I did for this other, the other front piece, and then the corner on this end. So let me get that over here so we can take a look at it. Alright, so here's the 3rd front piece that I'm using. And you can see it standing up. And there's door number 6. And then what I did at the end, I cut one of the other panels into pieces, and I glued it in here as an angle. And again, it certainly isn't architecturally perfect, because I don't know how they would, because again, the kit doesn't come with a corner, so I kind of fuddled through and made it look like a corner. But you can see it certainly isn't perfect. They probably would have some type of piece like this that would cover it, but I kept doing it and it kept building out, and I was like, the heck with it, I'm just going to do this. And on this door here at the end, I added a Walther's light. I figured, because this door can still be used. I figured, you're going to have a light so people can see what the heck they're doing. And then I added a little no parking sign. I think that's is it a Blair line sign? I don't know. In my junk box I found a little sign. And what I'm probably going to do on this corner to try to hide it, I have a piece of some type of pipe, I don't know, some type of drain pipe or something like that. Let me put this camera down. I might be able to get it stand on there so you can see what it looks like. Okay, that may be visible. Let me see if I can. I don't have the best studio. What I figured was it's just something running over, and I'm really doing it just to kind of hide that corner a little bit. But there's going to be another building sitting back in here, so I figured I'd run it out of that building, and then down this corner like it's some type of drain pipe, just to kind of help hide that corner, because I'm not sure I did the best job on that. So that, I'll paint that a darker color, and then a couple dabs of super glue, get that in there. That'll help hide that corner. And then for the back of this bad boy, again, let me get my little drain pipe off of here. What I decided to do, it might be hard to tell now, but there's actually, I put some clear glazing in these windows and made a little office. because to me it just didn't look right without some type of office. So for the back of this, you can see, and now since you can see this, I added some brick here. This is from Brickyard. It's like a software program, and it's not a perfect match, but I printed it off and cut it to fit, so at least now when you're looking from the front side, you're going to see not just the white, you're going to see some type of brick. Because although obviously it was 3D, there'd be, you know, it'd be brick on both sides. And then I made this little office here. This is just some little pieces of, actually it's old archival mat I used to use for photography. And I put a little LED light on the top. And the lights are both wired together. I soldered them together, and these are the leads. So I just got to hook up 2 wires and both the lights go on. And then that's the little office. And I didn't go crazy on the interior because it's a little bit farther away. And I found that for this, you just want to give the impression that there's something going on in there. Those are some Pricer, actually more like a conference room table, chairs, a figure sitting down, a figure standing up. I added just a couple, I think they're scale structures or Model Tech Studios, file cabinets and whatnot. And then if I turn it around, okay, that's all just kind of, you know, stuck in there, glued in, cut to fit. I had this fancy little high-tech design. I did some real mechanical calculations on that. That is the a little bit of a support, because it was kind of hanging out there in the breeze. So I just cut 245s and cut it to fit just to give it some support. I mean, trust it, these are not load-bearing walls, so don't panic about that. They're not going to really be a big issue. And then on the back side, and this might not be too visible, you can see there's a picture back there. That's actually a picture out of my hotel when I was on the on-site job out the, and it's like a, you know, just for the back wall, and there's a door. You know, I don't know if these are going to show up very well with my setup. And they're just cut out and glued on the back, because when you know, on the layout, you can actually look in sort of like that. So I figured it made sense to have something on the back wall, look kind of plain. And that's just painted with craft paints. I just picked some colors, like a tan color for the floor and a light blue for the walls. So I'll go ahead and turn the lights on. Again, I don't know how well it's going to work with this camera, but that's the views. Just to give the impression, you know, I found that it's not really a big deal if you use this cheaper type of furniture and whatnot. Again, this is not meant to be a contest entry, which if it was, you'd probably do some more detail and a little finer detail. You just want to give the impression that something's going on in there, because people aren't going to, you know, peer in there and pick your work apart, especially when you're going to be back, you know, relatively far. You just want to give the impression that, yep, there's an office, there's furniture, there's 2 people in there working late. So let me try with the light just to see what it looks like. I don't know how well it'll show with my gear here. Gear here? Got your gear here? Okay. Alright, so there's the office. Turn the light off. We'll see if this comes in at all if I turn the interior light on. So again, it may not come up with this camera, and I'm not even sure how well it's going to look. But, so when you're looking in, it kind of gives the impression, oh yeah, there's an office. There's 2 guys working. He's got a desk, even though it's not really a desk. But that's what I wanted to just add a little bit of visual interest. You can kind of see the door, you know, that painting on the wall. You could also put a calendar, a whiteboard, you know, anything like that. And then you can see the other light comes on. So again, you're never going to really be able to see very well into this window. But again, if you do look in there, it just gives you the impression that there's something going on. So that is that. That's how I modified this kit. Oops, sorry about that. And now I got to get the other. I'll tell you what. Let me turn the main light back on. So it just gives you a little bit of visual interest. Because most of this you can't do it because these are flat against the back wall. But since from about here out, for me, it's going to be actually sticking past the weird location I have. That's why I decided to add that little corner office. So, alright, let me turn these lights back on. Okay, here we go. So now what I got to do is work on the other. Slow rotate here. I got to work on this end as well. Make that up. So I'll do that and then figure out what I want to do to hide this corner, or maybe not even worry about it maybe. and then glue the 3 main pieces together, which will be a little interesting. It's pretty simple to, maybe I could try gluing these 2 together and working on this corner, but it's a lot easier working with the piece that's a little bit smaller, so I'll see. But again, they just kind of stick together. They slide in there nice, put some glue. You gotta be using the Weldbond, which works well. And then it's ready to go on the layout. And then I'll maybe, again, I'll kind of show it on the layout later on, maybe in another video, but because I need the other building to match it in. I'm going to have to add a roof in here. It's going to match the other building. But once I do that, and again, that's why I did it like this. It's designed to support a roof. With the strip, with some of the strip wood that's up here, I can put a roof in there. Either another cardboard piece or have some Walthers modular roofs or something. I'll be able to make a roof up. But it, you know, from roughly here over, it sticks out. It's going to be 3D, so to speak, and tie into another building. So I got to work all that stuff out. But that I kind of need the other building to get that done. So all right, that's that. That's just a little bit of a custom work here done on this GC Models Lindsay Brothers background kit, and how I modified it and added a little special touch to it for the layout. So. Alright, let's get this thing finished up, glued up, and ready to go on the layout. Okay, so here I have the 3 pieces gluing together. I decided to lay them face down on the bench, and they fit over the edge of the mat here for the brick pieces, so they're still nice and flat. Then got some weights over each of the center sections. This is the other end. I made made the 90 out of that, so I'm just going to let that sit. I'm going to let the whole thing sit overnight. I mean, this Weldbond with this type of paper material sets up quick, but I'll just let it sit overnight. And so everything's kind of weighted down. I sure hope the picture doesn't fall off the wall in there, the door swing open. So we'll get that done. And then there is one top piece I have to add across the center. It overlaps, so I had to have the other sides glued in. And then we'll get it done and get it ready to go over on a layout. Alright, here it is. All glued up and not set. I mean, it's not glued in yet, but it's set here on the layout where it's going to set. I think it turned out decently. Like I said, this end here, I'd say this is still a little road up in there, so it's still, on occasion, can be opened. There's going to be another building back here that this track will actually be inside of. I think it's a Walthers shop building, because it's got a door so you can bring a track inside, and I'm going to have 2 of them. So I'm going to somehow tie it in from here up to about roughly in there somewhere, whatever the length of those. I think they're like a foot long roughly. And then that's where I'm going to have to modify and add a roof. And you can see why I added the brick in there. So at least when you're looking in there, it looks, a little bit more like it should, I think. I got that, had a little adventure getting that pipe on it, that drain pipe on, but it's there. Not perfect, but it kind of helps hide that corner. And you got the office. And then down at this end, so this just kind of sits right against the wall there. And I decided to add down there in that little corner a little yellow bollard. Just a piece of 1/8 dowel that I kind of sanded up the top to make it look like a bollard. Because that sits right against there. Now I'm not sure what I want to do here where it's white. Maybe just paint it green or something to kind of make it, because it's pretty glaringly obvious that it's white. But I didn't cut the backdrop to fit around that. And I'm not sure it makes sense that there's a farm on top of the building, but whatever. I'm tired of worrying about trying to make things super perfect. So that's going to be that. So now it's back to work on, I got a lot of other things going on. Stuff in here, stuff along there. Actually, I filmed a segment that I haven't posted yet that kind of explains all that. But anyway, this is just a little special edition on this building. So there it is. So that's the GC Laser Lindsay Brothers background flat building, modified with corners, some lights, an office, weathered up and detailed a little bit, custom sign added, and a few other details. So that's it. I think it looks okay. I think when everything else gets done back here, it'll look good. So at least I'm getting something done. All right, more to come. Get back to work and keep working on the other buildings for this area.